I want to thank all of you for coming tonight. I'm Tony Civitella, President and CEO of TransFinder. We're a software development company in Schenectady, New York. We also started a new venture called New York Biz Lab. It's an accelerator, also in Schenectady. I tell you, I'm so excited to come here once a month to see the energy and see the people. They come here. I feel like it's getting bigger and bigger. Pretty soon, we're going to need to get a bigger hall. And obviously, the weather is slowing us down. So let's continue this. There's obviously something happening in this region that I can't even explain, but I'm sure if you look inside of you and look at the person next to you, ask yourself, what's going on? Why has this region all of a sudden become more than just what we thought a few years ago? And I'm excited, and you all should be proud of this. And let's continue supporting these events. We need as many people to come here. Eventually, we're going to need a new space, but thank you for letting us be sponsors, and let's pay attention to the speakers for tonight. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, my name is Chris Thompson. I'm a founder, president, CEO, janitor of WorkOrders.es. We are an online work order ticketing platform. So what we do is really we enable landlords and tenants to be able to create and submit work orders or submit any issues they might have with their apartments or rental units into our system. The landlords are then able to track, assign the work orders, update them in real time, and then let the tenants know when the repairs have been completed. This idea really stemmed from, I own a couple of investment properties, and I have a lot of tenants that will submit to me, the light bulb's broken in the kitchen, or hot water heater's not working, and they'll text me, or they'll email me. And I just thought there's a much better way, there has to be a better way, in order to be able to track all of this, keep track of problem issues, knowing that maybe I need to replace a light bulb or relay hot water heater or something like that. So I kind of developed this platform from the tenant's perspective in terms of ease of submitting work orders, and the landlord's perspective from how they can then track them. All right, so I just mentioned really that the solution was to be able to create a system for tenants to be able to submit their work orders, landlords to be able to track them. So what I'm going to do is kind of go through a couple of different slides that we have of the application. We just launched Monday night, 2 a.m., so to say that we are new is a little bit of understatement. So we weren't sure if we'd be able to have internet connection here to be able to do a live demo, but if anyone's interested, please come see me afterwards. So really, part of the application is once you log into the account, create an account, purchase one of our support plans, you then add your investment properties. Once you've added the investment property, the address, then you're able to invite your tenants to be able to sign up for the system. You've added and tied that user into the property so that when that user then creates a work order, we already know where they live. We already have the address in our system. We're able to track it on the back end. Users are able to put in a title, description, drag and drop a picture of what the issue might be. And then what you're looking at right here is kind of the landlord's view. So we're able to schedule a time when we'll complete the work order. Tenant's able to see the status. Then the landlord is able to see all the different work orders in the system and triage them, assign them to different people. So a landlord might have employees if they're a small property management company, or if they're more like myself, I'm probably the one that's going to go relight a hot water heater or change a light bulb. And then this kind of a view of what a work order looks like. I realize that the bottom image is a little blurry. It's really just a screenshot of a broken tile. But the idea being that tenants are able to take a picture of what the issue is, and then the landlord is actually, after the issue's been repaired, it will take kind of a proof of life, if you will, image to be able to show, hey, I fixed the tile. So what we're looking for is customers. Just launched on Monday night, 2 a.m., maybe Tuesday morning. Any introductions anyone might be able to provide to individuals like myself that might own 1 or 2 investment properties or small property management companies, be appreciated. And then we are definitely open to the idea of raising venture capital. We are self-funded at this point, fully distributed with developers in New York City and Portland, Oregon. So, any questions? Yes.
Let's say I own 10 properties, and I've got a plumber that I prefer to call for all this stuff. Is there any way to integrate that kind of a service individual outside of the landlord into the system?
Yes, there is. So once you add a user, you can assign a role for that user. They would be either a tenant if they're the person renting it. If they work for you, they'd be an employee. But we also have the ability to add users as a contractor. So that contractor would have their own account. They would have a notification on their phone if a work order was assigned to them. Understandably, you would already have a relationship with that plumber or handyman, if you will. And then they would interact with the system. They would see only the work orders that have been submitted to them, and they would only have the ability to set when it was the date that it would be completed, and then upload a picture of the completed repair. Questions? Any questions? Yes, sir.
Does this have an ability to report out for tax purposes for property owners?
That is a great feature request. So the idea is that we will have exporting of the data. Also have a component that if landlords want to track their expenses, people will export that. So I essentially created this for myself, and that was a great use case. In January, actually, I had a burst pipe in one of my properties. And I've got all the receipts, and I've got the work order in there in my dev system for testing. I would love to be able to enter in, the cost of that repair, just for purposes of tracking, to see which one of my investment properties are more profitable. What am I spending a lot of money making repairs on different properties? Maybe that's not a great investment. I need to lapse. Yes, sir.
How much are you charging for your service app?
Sure. So we have a couple different plans. Starter plan is $9.99 a month. That gives you 2 buildings, total 4 units, 10 users. Our site is live. We do have a pricing. I never thought to get a pricing slide. So we have a starter plan, a premium plan, professional plan, and then enterprise plan. So essentially with each tier, we add the ability to increase the number of buildings, the number of apartments or units, and the number of users. In the back, yes.
Would this be able to export to like vendors for like you said, if you have a plumber you liked or anything like that, would you be able to send an email to that person saying, hey, you've got a work order from this tenant, can you take care of this?
So the question was, does it have the ability to send emails, the system send emails to a contractor, if you will, letting them know that there's something repaired? So yes, absolutely. Once a contractor or an employer has been added in the system, tenant submits the work order, the landlord receives that and assigns that contractor, they would receive an email notification. The idea being in our future release, when we have an app, they have push notifications. So you hit the buzz and you see, oh, I've got a new work order, and check it. That starts to get a little bit into the kind of the dispatch model of more service industry that we're exploring going down that path.
Thanks.
Yes, right up front.
What's the technology infrastructure underneath that? Where is it hosted?
So Amazon AWS is where it's hosted. So we're using Foundation as our front end, and SASS as for styling. We have responsive design. So the shots. These shots would be the desktop version, and then you can see the left menu bar that drops to the bottom. Sorry, drops to the bottom on a mobile phone, tablet, etc. Any other questions? Yes, in the back.
So you've been on the other side or the movies?
I'm sorry, what was that?
You've been on the other side or the movies?
That's a great question. So yes, there are competitors. So we are targeting small and medium-sized real estate investment professionals and small property management companies. And when I say small, I'm saying they manage maybe up to, let's say, 100 buildings, 500 units, etc. There are very large enterprise-wide property management systems that have a ticketing component in it. The ticketing component is more from the perspective that tenants submit the issue to them via email, text, in person if you're an apartment complex, and then somebody from the apartment complex or the property management company enters that into this enterprise system, and then obviously they can assign. So we focused on people more like myself, individual real estate investors, small property management companies, as our target market, focusing specifically on just work orders, not as much on property management, rental, listings, etc. Time for one more question. Yes, sir.
You said you were interested in maybe raising capital.
Yes.
Are you considering raising around the area or somewhere else, or?
So I am based in Saratoga Springs. I'm born and raised in this area. We are open to the idea of raising venture capital. I have a couple meetings set up in New York City. To be very honest, I think we're trying to gauge the funding environment right now. I am self-funding this to date. That can happen, let's not use the word indefinitely, but there's not a rush to raise venture capital. I want to be very deliberate about it and making sure that I was partnering with the right angel or venture capital firm. But it is something we are interested in. As a segue, self-promotion, we are actually presenting at a real estate tech startup meeting in April in New York City in front of a group of venture capitalists that are specifically interested in real estate startups.
Okay, thanks Anthony. I'm John Schroeder from Zimilate. Let me start with a quick question. So show of hands, how many people have clicked on an online ad this week? Okay. This month? Wow. This year? Okay, a few people, good. So that's called ad blindness. And that's one of the reasons why you see sponsored posts by Facebook, sponsored tweets, and other native advertising really taking off. So for the demo, we're going to borrow Brad Marshall's Zimilate account. Brad went to the doctor last week for his annual physical. Doctor came back with his blood tests and said, guess what? You have type 2 diabetes, which was a bit of a shock. So we're going to have a look at how Zimilate can help Brad save, organize, and expand what he knows about type 2 diabetes. So here we've got, one of Brad's spheres, which is what we call a collection of information. And this is on Cape Town, but we're going to create a new sphere, and we'll call that something catchy like Brad's new sphere. And now we need to go put some information in it. So let's go to Google, we'll put in type 2 diabetes, and we'll get back a bunch of results. So let's take the first one here on from the American Diabetes Association. This is their main entry page. And we're going to save that to the sphere. We'll click the browser extension. Zimilate has browser extensions for Chrome, Firefox, and other browsers. We select the sphere, and then we save this page to the sphere we just created. So now when we go back to Zimilate, and we click on that sphere, we have a nice thumbnail of the web page, and we click on that, and what we get is a pixel-perfect copy of that web page from the Zimilate servers. Okay? So all the links work, it's fully functional. If I click on one of the links, I get a tab open with that. And now that I've added some content to the sphere, what you see on the right is our recommendation engine shows you other spheres you might be interested in, including one from Lantus, which is a Sanofi company. Okay? And what they've got is they've gone out and curated the best information about diabetes. So the first thing that they've added is an image, right, that shows the scale and scope of diabetes. That's a $36 billion drug market. We have a web page they've added with an overview of what Lantus is. 2diabetes.org is the top community site where diabetes patients can connect with each other. We have a PDF, which is an overview of diabetes by the Research Wellness Foundation. And then Go Meals, which is a mobile app that Sanofi's created. And as you can see, it's been labeled, or maybe you can't see, mobile app. So if we get out of that and we come over to the label section and I click mobile apps, I get all the content within the sphere that's been tagged with mobile apps. So it's very easy to find and retrieve information. Okay? Now, normally with another app, I might be looking for how do I follow this or bookmark it. With Simulate, I can actually add this to my sphere. I drag it over, I drop it in, now it's part of my sphere. So when I go back to my lonely type 2 diabetes page and I search within the sphere for exercise routine, I get results back from everything I've added, including in spheres. So when I go back to the recommendation side and I click another sphere, I don't have to add the whole sphere. If there's content I'm interested in, I can simply drag and drop that over. And now when I come back, there it is. Okay, so that's a very quick demo of Simulate. We help users save, organize, and expand what they know. And we connect brands with those users. So you saw sponsored spheres. We also have an activity stream. So the nice thing is now with Lantis, every time Sanofi adds another piece of content to that sphere, it appears in my activity stream. So what we've got is a messaging channel from that brand to consumers, which is very nice for us as well because it's a recurring revenue stream. And lastly, we also have a demand-side ad platform that allows brands and advertisers to purchase and target very precise audiences beyond the Simulate platform. And we can do that without cookies. Because, why? Our users are actually saving the web pages that they visit and value to that sphere. So we were founded about a year ago. The prototype is on Amazon Web Services. We are also self-funded to date, and you can see a bit about our technology stack there on the bottom. What are we looking for? Angel funding to underwrite our beta test and launch, expand our analytics, sign up brands. We need front-end help. I was talking to someone earlier about JavaScript programmers. If you know any, I'd love to talk to you afterwards. And lastly, we spent a lot of time worrying about how do we find great curators to create high-quality spheres. So there's no right answer to that, but it's something we spent a lot of time thinking about. So with any of these, if you have any thoughts about the things that we're looking for, I'd love to connect with you after the presentation. So with that, let me open it up for questions.
Do you have any concerns about copyright infringement if you're stealing people's web pages?
Sure. So the concern is, do I have any concerns about copyright infringement since we're stealing people's web pages? We're trying. The short answer is sure. I think everyone in this industry does. This is covered by fair use, right? Evernote, Pinterest, SpringPad, there are lots of other companies doing what we're doing. The thought is we're going to drive enough traffic back to that website that we don't think we'll see a lot of suits. Could we? Sure. Always a concern. Other questions?
I'll just throw out a comment that I think that if you were, like your diabetes too, I know anybody who ever gets like a notice that they have cancer or anything really terrible happening to their health, that the first thing they do is Google and try to get everything, all the information they can. So I think that your curators might want to focus on that. Do you have a vertical market?
Sure, yeah, pharma is our first vertical market. And pharma is a really interesting vertical market for us. They've got huge FDA concerns. Social media, if they have a social media site and someone says, oh, I really love that drug, except I got a stomachache. Okay, that's called an adverse effect. They have to report it to the FDA. They can't use cookies for tracking, which is what most advertising is based on, because of privacy concerns and HIPAA. So yes, pharma is our first vertical. I've also got domain expertise there. Oh, sorry. Oh.
I have two questions. The first is, are you guys manually curating everything, or are you using technology to help with that?
Sure. No, it's all manual. So are we manually curating it? The recommendation engine is code.
Okay.
So that's all big data, natural language processing automatically. But the spheres themselves, no, people would actually have to put together the sphere with the content in it.
So is the sphere public or is it private?
Good question. So the question is the sphere public or private? We start off public by default, but you can make any sphere private, and it doesn't appear. And within a sphere, you can make any individual piece of content private. Other questions?
If the web page changes over time, but
Yeah.
you've got that, let's say, a copy of it now,
Yep.
will you get to see the one that you have now?
So,
Will it update?
okay, so the question is, if I've saved the web page and it changes over time, will I get the update? And the answer is, it depends. So if I've saved it myself, that's my copy forever. And that's one of the real benefits of Simulate, is it's frustrating, right? Because web pages go away. I bookmarked it, I go back to it, poof, it's gone. Or worse, it changes and the content that I liked before is gone. So I have a permanent copy and I can always save a new one if I want the updated information. If I've linked the sphere, if I added the other sphere to mine, then, so in other words, with the Lantis sphere, if they change those web pages, I get what's changed. So I always have the most current version. So if you're on the technical side of things, it's by reference. If I copy it over, I've got it forever and it's mine. So I can have my cake and eat it too. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Let's give John a hand.
Okay, thank you.
Next up is David Weinstein. He's from Click It Digital. Click It is an online platform that runs across all channels. David?
Hi everybody, I'm David Weinstein. I'm one of the co-founders of Click It Digital. And I want to thank Startup Tech Valley for letting us come out and talk today, as well as all of you. Who here does online advertising? Business owners, Facebook, social media, display. It's really hard. This represents the online advertising ecosystem. Top line, there are a lot of things to know. And that's where Click It comes in. We are an online advertising platform that runs ads across search, social media, display, mobile, and video channels concurrently, and it's managed by a team of certified experts. And the client can go into the dash at any time and see the aggregate performance across all of these disparate channels and measure the results across each channel. The way this works is we run ads on all different devices, laptops, PCs, mobile phones, and desktops, across every available online ad channel. In search, we use Google, Bing, and Yahoo. Social media ads on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Display on the Google DoubleClick network, as well as premium ad placement. Mobile on mobile apps, mobile display, and mobile search. And rich media and video ads across every channel that's available. Okay. Our clients are primarily small to medium-sized businesses like yourselves. You struggle with trying to manage all these different channels, setting up campaigns in all these different channels, paying for them, optimizing these campaigns, collecting up all the data and trying to make sense of it all. We deal with ad agencies who want to monetize and create revenue streams out of this channel. Marketing managers who have their hands full with traditional media as well, and resellers. And as you can see, we run across a whole wide range of verticals. So the way we are different from, say, using Google AdWords is that we work with our clients specifically. We create custom recommendations that are based around their goals, not just serving up impressions and clicks, which are kind of very hollow metrics if you've got a real sales funnel that you're trying to monetize. We use very sophisticated targeting, so we know what people are doing based on their income and their age, geographic, demographic information, what they share in social media, and all that is aggregated as part of our way to target ads to the right people and deliver them to every site they visit. We also use retargeting, if you're familiar with that. If anybody shops at Zappos, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The ads follow you around after you've left the site. All of our campaign experts are certified and they optimize campaigns on a regular basis. And again, you get to go in and look at everything in one place. So at the heart of it all is the dashboard. And what this will show you is that pie chart represents how your ads are serving across various channels like social media or search, how your budgets are breaking out across those different channels, daily clicks and impressions, of course, click-through rates on an aggregate level, and you can drill down to each individual channel and see very granular reporting, such as keyword optimization and Google rankings and things like that. So to date, our mission was to connect up all of these disparate channels in one place. Because again, as marketers, we manage all this stuff. It takes hours and hours. You never really get a complete picture of everything when you're running across all these different channels. And we've done that, but there are a lot of other tools that are out there that are really great. There are social media tools, mobile tools, there's Google Analytics and search, and we think there's an opportunity to bring these into the dashboard as well. And that's what we're working on now. We've leveraged a lot of partnerships with other technology companies that have these products. We're working at bringing them all into the dash. So just looking at our timeline, we've completed the task of launching the Managed Data Platform. Right now we're working on an email tool that integrates retargeting ad campaigns with outbound emails and newsletters so that you can actually attach pay-per-click campaigns to your email marketing. We have a competitive analysis tool that will show you exactly how you stack up against your competitors, not only in pay-per-click but in search as well. We've got a mobile location-based services product that works on NFC and Bluetooth technology that we want to roll out for retailers. Google Analytics right in the dash, so not only can you see what's happening on the ad delivery side, but you can see what people are doing inside of your website. And we want to spin this off as a self-serve subscription-based model as well. So to date, we've been revenue positive since we opened about 15 months ago. We've seen month-over-month growth. We're on track with our technology development some days. And we have strategic partnerships in development that are really showing some great promise. So we are looking for clients. If anybody's advertising online now, you're not sure of how it's working, you're being sold on impressions and clicks, we'd love to be talking to you. And funding. A year in the life of a tech startup is a lifetime. We like to move these products to market faster, so we are open to having discussions with investors. And strategic partnerships. If you've got a product that you think aligns with what we do, we'd love to be talking with you. That's it. I want to thank everybody for letting me come out. Does anybody have any questions? Crickets. No? All right, thanks.
Is Will Garthwaite. Garthwaite is working with Tungerall. Is an energy company that focuses on improving the performance of the grid. Will?
My name is Will, and I'm thrilled to get to talk to you tonight about Tumoro, a local startup in the energy storage industry. Now, energy storage is an industry that's been advancing with battery technology. But tonight, we're going to talk a little more about how to optimize the use of those batteries. So the killer app in energy storage is to install large racks of batteries into buildings to sort of actively manage the power use in those buildings. Now, putting storage on the customer side of the meter is really the holy grail of smart grid because of all of the value that you get not only to the buildings, but to the grid and to the environment as well. And the technology is here today. It's great. It works fantastic. So why don't we see more of these installations? The answer, like in most cases, is it comes down to economics. There's a very weak business case to the facilities. So these are the very people that we are depending on to install, but more importantly, to purchase some of this equipment. Now, let's just pretend that we're all facilities managers here, and we'll do a little thought experiment. We're going to consider an energy storage investment. We know that we are charged twice for our electricity. We're charged for our energy, but we're also charged for our power. That's the tip-top point of this graph here. So if we had energy storage in our facility, we could discharge those batteries when our facility is using the most power, right? Shave off that peak, and charge the batteries at night at some other time when the power is cheaper. Let the device sit idle the rest of the time. And we could save money on our electricity bills today. The problem is that it isn't enough. Turns out that if you do this, the value of the peak shaving service is roughly comparable to the cost of the device, making it a very poor investment today. Now, this is a big problem for the battery companies, right? These are companies that are essentially betting their future on being able to sell these devices to end users who do the same math that we just did here. Let's also take a little closer look on how the batteries are being used, right? We say that we have to discharge them when the power usage is very high. Turns out this isn't even every day because of how we're billed for our electricity. And the rest of the time, the batteries are sitting idle. So our research shows that these devices would sit idle over 90% of the time. Tumalo will take this spare time and this spare capacity, aggregate it over many different energy storage systems. All these different energy storage systems will then be connected over the internet to a central server, which can operate these systems like a virtual power plant. Now, the grid's a really complicated device. It takes a whole suite of services to keep the grid stable and reliable. And this virtual power plant can provide many of these same services that traditional power plants can. In fact, we can do it better and cheaper. And we can do this without compromising the ability of each individual battery system to help the building that it's installed in. So these batteries can continue to do that peak shaving. They can continue to give backup power. Everything that these batteries were installed to do, they'll do that. This is just an added revenue stream on top of that. And the revenue stream is substantial. So systems on the Tumalo network will make between 2 and 4 times more revenue than, say, standalone systems. The result now is that energy storage looks like a much more attractive investment. A moderately sized system is about, say, 350 kilowatts. This system is now worth over $1 million in the course of its lifetime. So we've taken something that was some sort of a marginal investment, and by better using its time and its capacity, we've turned it into a very attractive investment now. So we are, of course, looking to raise funds for this, but because I want this to be a fundraiser, not a fundraiser, we're also looking to connect with facilities managers, particularly facilities managers of, say, large commercial or industrial sites in this dark blue highlighted area here that starts south of New York. And we're also looking to connect with battery companies. So we've gotten a lot of great feedback from the market so far. And we're always trying to learn more about what the industry really wants from a service like this. So that's really it. In closing, I mean, the electrical grid is a marvelous machine. It's the largest machine ever built by mankind. And perhaps it's the most important. So we really owe it to ourselves to take care of it. The Tumalo software and services optimize the use of energy storage, and it lets the storage owners get paid for helping take care of this grid that we all depend on so much. Thanks for your attention. I'll take questions.
Does this technology have the ability to reduce demand charges for commercial customers?
Yes, that's exactly what I was talking about. So when we were talking about the peak shaving, that's what we're doing. We're reducing the demand charges.
Right, except that I saw that the blue area was excluding New York State. Each utility makes their own rules.
This is true. This is true. So this blue area that we're talking about, this is called PJM territory. So it's a separate, it's not a utility, it's a separate ISO, right, which is one of these organizations that's in charge of making sure the grid stays stable. And the rules that New York ISO has chosen to set are less favorable to this technology than they are in this blue shaded region here. That's right. Yeah?
Has the NISO looked at this at all in terms of frequency modulation to dampen the effects of some of the wind power in the state?
Yeah, so that would be the first application for this virtual power plant is some of this frequency regulation that you're talking about. New York ISO does have its own programs in place, but like I said, we've looked into them and they're sort of less favorable than they are in this region. But every region is taking care of this problem in their own way. That's right.
If he uses a UPS too?
It absolutely can. So the nice thing about putting storage on the customer side of the meter is the wealth of options available to you. So we can use it for this peak shaving. We can use it like a UPS. We can operate it on the virtual power plant. You can do voltage support. Really, it's whatever you're trying to do as a customer with your storage. We can incorporate that and still get you a little more money for your investment.
Anything for homeowners?
The residential market is a little, the system size is a little small right now. Ultimately, I do think that there'll be, it's like the New Deal. There'll be a chicken in every pot and a battery in every home. But that day's a little further off now, I think. What else? Yeah?
How do you make revenue?
Because we enable this additional revenue, then we will take a percentage of the frequency of the revenue from running the virtual power plant. So the end user can sort of keep whatever revenue stays in the building, if you will, this peak shaving revenue, and the revenue that's coming in from providing these grid services will take a percentage of it.
Do you see potential for growth in regulating areas outside PJM?
Absolutely. So
Which ones?
California ISO is the next place that we're planning on expanding to after that. But besides that, Texas, New England ISO, and internationally to Europe and Singapore.
The work in ERCOT?
Absolutely. Yeah, no doubt.
So I just want to, I have the fun part of the program. If you've ever seen speed dating, we're going to do this really quick. Jason has no idea. I'm supposed to be introducing the company, but I need Jason to come over here because I'm going to put him on the spot. How many of you read the Business Review? Do you know this is our newest 40 under 40? Let's give a round of applause.
It's all the work that Matt and Kelly and the rest of our affiliate EIRs do that make me look good. So I think it's not so reserved, but thank you.
Thanks. Eric, how'd I do for speed dating? Is that fast? All right, so in the same spirit, we have a company that was part of RPI. They've graduated, and they're moving forward. I gave them 1 minute to do a pitch, so let's see how they do. This is easy coaching.
Just wanted to thank Jason for giving us this 1 minute. Really appreciate it. So we are Easy Coaching, and we are introducing wearables into the swimming market. So why would the swimming market want to have wearable technology? Right now their technology is pen and paper. They're tracking all their data by hand with a stopwatch, and basically they have about 15 points of data, so various swim meets throughout the season, where they can actually quantify how their training methods are performing. So basically the main goal is to get a coach to actually drop their watch, pay attention to their team, and let their data be recorded automatically.
So when we say drop the watch, we mean that the coach can now rest assured that all the important statistics ranging from how their swimmers are doing, these splits, etc., are being captured real time and displayed to them real time. So rather than a coach looking at a specific lane or a specific person, they have a device, and that device is pushing them notifications and indicating to them who are the top performing swimmers, who are the underperforming swimmers, who is seeing a really, really large difference from what they swam today to what they swam last year or last week. So we do this by creating a nice real-time link between coach and athlete. But the real-time link doesn't just end on the pool. This is viewable from around the world. So you can have a coach in California monitoring his team in real time in very, very gross detail. And his team is in New Jersey. So this has implications not only when you're talking about teams in the pool, but when we talk about the virtual coaching market, triathlon training market, where these devices can kind of keep their athletes accountable. So our production run, we currently have our prototype. So the prototype breaks boundaries in that we are the first real-time device that communicates information from within the water to a server outside. So that's pretty groundbreaking in that we are the only company to provide that real link. But in addition to just this communication, we're one of the only companies that can provide accurate splits for each swimmer in the pool. And they'll be more accurate than what you can do by hand. So now we've moved past paper and pen to capturing more accurate statistics in mass than what you can currently do today. So we're here looking for a production ramp up, people, advice, customers, and the associated funding that goes with ramping up our production. So we have our prototype verifying the market in addition to the device itself. And we're here for anyone who's interested in offering advice or support in wrapping up our production to begin our full scale testing. And I think that was about a minute. We get 2 minutes because we're twins.
7 minutes. I think you had your hand up first.
Yeah. How much does it slow the kid down?
Sorry?
How much does that have any impact? Swimming's pretty...
So I was swimming last week with an icebreaker mint container in my wrist, and I've been a swimmer since I was 6 years old. It wasn't that bad. So we're going to actually be much smaller as a form factor, just think along the lines of like a Pebble watch. So very minimal. From years of experience, it doesn't really bother me. So yes. Oh, sorry.
Is that applicable across other sports as well?
Yes, we're definitely looking to moving into running, cycling is our next vertical markets, getting to triathlon and other sports like that, yeah.
Yep, the main thing that we're trying to incorporate is the real-time link of information from coach to athlete, or from athlete to coach. And we feel that swimming is a nice market that we can take advantage of due to the lack of technology that's present, and it'll allow us to capitalize on a position and move forward with a device and a methodology that works across endurance sports.
I swim at the Y twice a week, and I see people with all kinds of gadgets and stuff and kickboards, and why wouldn't you go for the consumer market?
So we are making a consumer-ended. We're starting with 3 separate products. A base product, which is geared at coaches and swimmers. The next model will be consumerizing that. So based off of all of the practices that our coaches, so this includes club coaches or college coaches, based off the practices that they have uploaded into the system, it allows a consumer like you to purchase those training plans on a marketplace. The device will then tell you exactly how to swim or what to swim. So it'll go line by line, but it doesn't stop at just telling you, swim 400 meters. It's very itemized. It'll tell you to swim 100 meters freestyle at this very specific time and tell you how you're doing, and then you can run all the data analytics after. So it virtualizes the coaching that someone would normally do on a pool to your wrist.
How does the device actually communicate with the server? You say it's in the water. How does it actually do it?
So we packet the information. We're not really communicating through the water, but we utilize swimming, your arm comes out of the water. So we packet the information, and then we send that to the server where it's stored.
Is it with Wi-Fi, or is it actually a...
So we're using XB, which is kind of like Arduino. So it goes through like that. So you're actually seeing a couple seconds delay when we're taking splits. It's about 15 seconds to 20 seconds for a split. So the coach will see no lag in the information. So clear line of sight, we have about 10 miles. But that's obviously interrupted by walls, etc. So within the confines of a pool, there should be no gap in distance.
Just leave time for one.
How does it know you stop?
So that's why it's so good.
Yes.
It just does. So it's built into the analytics to tell when you stop. So you essentially purchase a practice and it will track you through the progression of your practice. So it knows this is the first part of the practice and you just touched the wall, your practice is over. In terms of rest and all of that in between, that's part of the machine learning algorithms that we're developing now. So it knows when you're swimming, it knows when you're not swimming, knows when you started, and knows when you stopped. And then we're looking forward to expanding that to all of our other sports.
How'd they do?
Thanks, Matt.
Wait till you hear the story. You won't hear the whole story because I have 1 minute, 1 slide. That's what I was given. This is the infomercial for next month's presentation, which will be April 2nd. I'm Bob Moran. I'm the superintendent of Schodack Central School District, right out here in Rensselaer. Actually, Will from Tumalo is one of our tenants. Basically, what we call is Schodack Central School District, opening the doors to innovation. We're doing something different. We're actually the only school in New York State, and I believe the only school in the country, that is opening up unused school space to start up companies at no cost. And you say, at no cost, how can you do that? First of all, when I stood up there, I thought you guys looked like my faculty, except there's alcohol out there. Hopefully there's no alcohol at my faculty meetings. But anyways, it's an agreement that we have. As schools decline in population, we have more and more available space. That space sits there vacant. with nothing happening. Came up with an idea of how we can get some of these startup companies that have a very low revenue income, so they can't afford rent in some of the places, get them out of their apartments, get them into school districts, and the partnership that we have happens to be professional development for teachers, that they can explain their technology with the teachers, internships with students, participation in classrooms to expose our youngest learners from kindergarten right on up into high school of these new technologies that are available to them as they go through school. Currently, right now, we have three businesses in our basement. The idea is not to keep them in forever. It's like that college kid you want to kick out, but they keep coming back. They can only stay for up to 2 years. During that time, there's a great partnership, not just with the professional development for teachers, not just for the internships with students, not just for the partnerships and getting used to the community, because the idea is if they decide to move out, potentially purchase property or vacant buildings within my community, and then begin to employ members of my community in their business. So it's a win-win situation. Again, this is the first year we're doing it. It's taken off very well. We have 3 businesses, looking at a 4th one, and a lot of open space. You want to learn more about it, how the partnership works, come back to April 2nd, and we'll be able to go in a lot more detail. I'll be able to answer questions. I am here tonight if you want some questions, but tonight I don't think there's questions for me, right? Great. Hope you have a great night. Thank you.
One last thank you for Anthony DeVotis, Mark Menard for coaching some of our speakers, for Mike Hoffman who bought the drinks, for the rest of our sponsors, and for Anthony for opening it up, and Matt and other people to pitch in. It's really nice to see so many people coming out and a really community coming together around this idea that there's something special going on in Tech Valley. Thanks for coming.